Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Just right out of the gate, we've got a problem with Rumble, so I'm going to let Norma speak, and I'm going to do some stuff in the background to see if I can get it going. And Carolyn, thank you so much for being here today. And yeah, we want to talk about some of the current energies happening on Earth right now, so to speak, in the cosmos, as above, so below. Norma Jean, how you doing? Take it away.
Good. How about you?
Awesome. Except for this, but I'll figure it out.
Just staying busy, just coming more and more to understand, this process of, the redemption and truly understanding what being a redeemed or redeemer is about, coming to understand truly what the Bible signifies and what it has been really providing the people, that it's just now coming about where others are beginning to understand, this isn't just about, staying in that place on a spiritual sense. You also must understand how to be in this material world as well. So this is where I've come to understand so much more about the bifurcation, not just about in this world that we're journeying through, but that this world has influenced so much of the human race in its own bifurcation within itself. The world that we are, that we take on form to be here to journey through this beautiful place. So it's been quite fascinating and just so much more eye-opening for me to really understand and overstand that we are so much more powerful than we would have ever thought. And as we undo these programs that, of the process of becoming more of that centered and whole individual, then we begin to really truly understand our connection with others as we go through these processes. So it's been such a wonderful journey for myself, just sitting back and really reflecting on the life that I've experienced, to really significantly see an even greater perspective, because it's like the more I understand and the more I provide myself with information, regardless of where it's coming from, as long as I'm capable of using some discernment and allow my body to tell me in that resonant way if this is something that has a truth to it, or if it's something to pay attention to. The greater perspective I keep giving myself. And this is where it's been profound for me, that my world is working in tandem and in unison and harmony within me, where as that takes place, I'm beginning to see more and more the harmony and the connection and the ascension of more and more individuals in this, that are doing everything they can to come together as a collective to create a more, I guess you would say, simpler way of being here in this existence, in this material world, so that others, as they themselves, whether it's this lifetime, the next lifetime, so forth or so on, that as time goes on, as long as there's that what has been and what we've experienced does not happen at the level that it was ever again, then the process should be more balanced and more people would have a greater understanding of the gift of being here and having this experience. So that's what I've been doing. I'm just so excited in so many ways and on so many levels of the steps that are being taken, what's going to take place once those steps are completed, and I get into a different, position, in a different place of standing, that the just the ideas of bringing about a greater world is endless.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely. And that's, oh, thank you, Norma. I think part of this profound transition, alchemization, integration is realizing that nothing will be what it was ever again. And you can't imagine. So we can't imagine how good it can be because we don't know. It's not in our memory banks. We can dream, but I think it'll be much better than that. Now this will take some space as others catch up, so to speak. And there's no rush. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. Just enjoy the journey from wherever you are right now. We honor you. We see you. And we're grateful that you showed up today. So, this liberating the form, we've always been sovereign souls. And now is time to liberate the form that was shackled when it was born into this realm through specific paperwork that when they that we've been utilized for our energy. And the more and more and more I come into this expansion, the more I realize, wow, we are way more powerful than we've ever been led to believe. Paperwork aside, this aside, I'm starting to notice more and more things going on physically for me, mentally, emotionally, and in harmony with Earth at this point. I can really start to feel what's going on. Literally, in my fingertips right now are on fire. Right, my crown is doing a dance. Yeah, and my third eye has been like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." So if I hear something and it's true, it's like, yeah. Coming to understanding and strong sensing that Kahuritu is spot on. Yes. Absolutely. And lots of confirmations lately. Beautiful. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Hello, Shay. Hi, Kriba. We're grateful you guys are here. Yeah, and it didn't play on Rumble today, so I just posted a link to go the other sites. Carolyn, maybe that's why it wasn't working. But a lot of people have had a lot of tech issues lately, especially with Rumble. So I'm sure it's got its growing pains as well. So we're grateful to be able to be on multiple platforms all at once and share this info. So we've been deep diving into ourselves and really sensing what's going on. Norma, God bless your brain. Yeah, it is a gift in itself for the information recall and yeah, ability to do that. So, but we've all got some studying to do per se. And who thought, you know, any of us would be going back to school? This is different. You're going to enjoy this part. It's got a good result. So I'm halfway. I'm literally waiting on a couple years of taxes to be wrapped up. Should be this week, and then we can go on to the next phase of the journey. And we have a really important meeting on Thursday to discover how to bring more in that don't have the capacity to front load payment on this. So we are asking more about that on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. We're conscientious of what we are willing to say online at this point, simply because it's for those ears that can hear. And if you know what we're talking about, you know what we're talking about. And if you don't, that's okay too. But if you feel you're a sovereign soul and you want to be sovereign and you don't want to be off grid living on the land somewhere and you're really just a tenant anyway, you don't really own the land the way it's all set up, then this is an option for you. If you want to leave a legacy for your children, highly recommend a conversation. Yeah, I can't stop thinking about those boats when we were from Bowen, the legacy boat and then the Jade boat. And of course, Jade is the name of my daughter. Yeah. And the
Your middle
legacy
name.
was spelled funny. It was Lega and then SEA. So I'm surprised I didn't take pictures of that, but that's okay. Oh, good. Yeah. And Norma, as we go through this process, I found a lot of integration within the body, like letting my body settle in. And then you start to go, possibilities. Like, what is possible? What can we do? Oh, we can do anything we want. Almost. We can choose to live where we choose. We can choose to set up new businesses and healing centers, and it becomes, yeah, like a whole new level, so to speak, of the game.
So much so. And, if there's anything that I've come to truly see and, just this process is that, with being here with you for for almost 2 years, it's been that I've, since 33, I spoke to that I've been on my own self-reflective journey since then. And a lot of it's been on this side of what people are experiencing right now, called spirituality. And, to understand that part of yourself is a significance, because, you must understand that side of yourself, because that's bringing back in the heart of who you are. And as I keep journeying through all this material and this information, and coming to realize and recognize so much about, the significance of what the Bible was written for.
Yeah.
And being able to discern, what's the importance of what the Bible is providing us with as soulful beings, to help us understand that side of the bifurcated world in which we are existing in, because there's heaven and earth. These are already worlds that exist that we are, we're journeying through, because we're bringing in, the spiritual aspect, because that's the occult side, which is the secret side that we all must understand about ourselves. But it's also understanding, the material world, earth, and what that signifies. When we look at the Bible and see Cain and Abel, it's more of a metaphor of understanding that the first bifurcation that ever happened was that Cain slayed Abel. Well, Cain is the mind, Abel is the heart. And when we take the heart out of the mind, or out of the mix of the worlds, this world in which we are journeying, that's bifurcated in itself, because that's the sine wave, that's the waves in which we understand how to keep our balance. It's quite fascinating, given that the parable of that story, and getting more into the depthness of the profound understanding of that. Because for me, and what I've been doing all my research and just getting into just a deep dive, is that when you look at recorded history, and the way I perceive it is that since the beginning of recording history, that's when a second bifurcation took place. And that's when they began to code and create what you would say the mirror of a matrix with a construct. And so, to me, in my understanding, that was the second bifurcation, because then this is when we begin to understand more about the masculine and the feminine, how this world was being structured over time. and how it was being ran by your kings and your rulers and your queens and so forth and so on. And then you, of course, you had commerce that was coming about within that structure as well. So we didn't just have one bifurcation. We had a bifurcation that happened within us as well, that we split the mind. And so now it's through my own process and my own journey, especially in these last probably month, that I'm beginning to realize and recognize that what I've been doing for myself this whole time is understanding why there was such a contradiction within myself. And it was because of the mind, because the mind had been split. So I wasn't just doing one dance, I was doing multiple dances. I was doing that multiple dance. At first, I had to bring my heart back into to guide me, to guide the mind, to understand that bifurcation in which it was utilizing its through its process of its choices it was making through the experience of this thing called life. So as I was going through this journey, I've just come to understand that I brought my heart back into this even more to help my mind to recognize what had been done, that it was utilizing something that was confusing. It was either going to the right or to the left, and this is how the information would be crossed. So as soon as I understood that, I had to come to a place where I had to bring the feminine and the masculine of my understanding together through my processes and through my own reflective, sittings with myself to understand the contradictions within me. That's where I began to step back and really have the cognition that I'm beginning to remember who I am in all this, because now I'm bringing it all together to become whole as one. Have I accomplished this? Well, no. This is something that is always going to be continual for me, just as it may be for others. However, the dance that I have with these energies that I am, the soul, the spirit, the mind, the heart, whatever it is you want to be able to define it as or call it. And for me, it's just energies, because if I call it energies, I'm not defining it so much, and I'm not causing that contradiction within myself. I just look at it as, I've got these three that are the two that are working with the one, which is my being, that's bringing these two together to understand how to have that dance again. So it's like, instead of having a bridge, it's a fusion that it becomes a single bridge between the 12 inches of the mind and the heart. But it's the brain that the mind utilizes. So the soul is the one that is what's influenced by what it is given to determine our choices, or its choices as to how to maneuver within this world. So this is things that I've just been really contemplating and really reflecting upon, and just expanding that much more of the soul that I am, that the being that gives this vessel life. Because when we talk Cain and Abel, and because you've got the mind and you got the heart, without the heart, then where's the breath? So where's the anima, which animates this form?
Beautiful. Absolutely. And it is a dance. It's an eternal dance. It's all part of the beautiful journey that we're all on, if you can get to that perspective. If you're struggling right now, or you're judging others, or you're blaming external things for how you feel, we feel you. I've been there. I've been through that. There's so much division right now. It's a little bit mind-blowing, especially here in Canada. And it's really important to make some decisions around, what are you willing to spend your time doing, or are you going to spend more time just being as well, and being outside and being in nature? This week was everything from I don't know, a few hikes in nature to plugging in the sand, getting a little pink in the face because I fell asleep. I was like, I better get out of here. But it was just what I needed to just being able to be. And I'm A-type personality that couldn't sit still for 5 minutes before. And so I am not the same person I was a year ago, a day ago, 10 years ago. We've come so far. And not unlike the astronomy, astrology, there's cycles to it, but no two cycles are exactly the same. Whatever you reject, though, you repeat until you figure out how to not reject it in that same way. Yeah. How can you show up differently? How can you be differently?
Yeah, it's definitely about the cognitive dissonance that we each must work ourselves through. It's not as much about rejecting a belief that you have. It's about, can you step outside and say, okay, I have this belief. Let me do some research and let me get the contradictions. Let me get some more information about why I have this belief. And let's see if my belief can stand up to a factual base of something to hold on to. So, and going through that is really going to challenge you in facing, the possibility of the programs that brings forth that cognitive dissonance. That, are we willing to walk in faith and trust ourselves that we're going to know what to look for, because there's something that just moves within us that says that, oh, it is something that makes you question. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, that's intriguing. I never would have perceived it that way. I never would have asked myself this particular question. I never would have. So what this does is it takes you out of that complacency, because if there's one thing I can say about us human beings, we have a tendency to become complacent with the way things are. Yet everything tells us and shows us that change is always taking place.
Mm-hmm. Can you embrace the change, or are you going to try and fight it, which often doesn't work out so well? And the more chaotic it gets, the calmer I get, because I know we are coming upon some really big shifts. But do you have the eyes to see the good that's going on right now? And Mother Nature is definitely letting herself known at this moment. She's clearing and cleansing. So just like we do, maybe you do, like a spring cleaning in your body, or a seasonal cleaning, or a fast. It doesn't always feel great, but you feel better afterwards. That's what Mother Earth's doing right now. She's like, damn, I'm sick of this shit over here, and I'm going to stretch over here and move this along. Yeah, absolutely. And Carolyn showed a beautiful, I would assume it's part of a song. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Absolutely. Yeah. It's taking inspired action. And if you asked me even a month ago, 2 months ago, I suppose, and I've known, because it's been in my bones and my being, that something's coming and shifting for us at Adventures for Connection, for my daughter, for myself, for my family, I knew, I just didn't know what. And it's having that unwavering faith that even when it didn't feel good, I just kept going. What can I control? What can I do? Get more time out in nature. And so now when the possibilities are all open, I'm like, that's not what I expected. That's like way better than I could have expected for yeah.
It's like one extreme. It's like from one extreme of the seesaw to the other one. It's like either somebody got up, or they got up and punched it down, and you just slid to the other side. That's that waveform.
Yeah.
That's where life really challenges you to see if you can stay balanced, regardless of where you're standing or where you're at in, gaining the knowledge or the information that provides you with a greater position of your perception of what's taking place in yourself, so that you may begin to see it out here. Because I see great works going on, and all I know is I'm going to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It resonates hugely. It's the first thing that has in years, in this way, in this deep rooted legacy, ancestral core way. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to mention too. So we are going to Vedette Lake. This may be our last trip to Vedette Lake. I don't know what's going on with the property. I don't know fully where we will be in a year from now. So I'm suggesting for those that do desire to go, it's a great time to go because we're going to be sharing and celebrating a lot. And we have some great things in store. So I know we have room for 4 more. Yeah, I think there's room for 4 more, depending on if you camp or not. So reach out, ask any questions. We'd love to have you. And then we're also this whole Egypt and Greece trip. More messaging comes in every day around this. Greece is becoming, Egypt is like the activator, boots on the ground, like getting really everyone to a specific space and place within themselves in Egypt. And then Greece is like there's codes for activation there. I got to go back and redo some dowsing on Crete, which I haven't done yet. Actually, I haven't dosed it. So yeah, some deep information stored there for the feminine. Yeah, which is very exciting. So come play, come see the world the way we see the world, and your perspective will never change again. We're not trying to change you. We're just giving you other perspectives. And once you know, you cannot unknow it. It's just impossible. Oh my God, I never knew that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's not a very good feeling, my love. And then, of course, there will be a convoy. So that's still happening too. So you'll definitely be there, Shay. And I'm not going to say I don't see you in Egypt because that would be up to you. Yeah. Absolutely. Vedette is June. We go in on the 19th, but it's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and we leave the morning of the 23rd. You'll breaker. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So write that one down and see. Yeah. I'm under the impression that it's possible the property will be shifting. Yeah, I'll just leave that there. So we'll know more once we get up there. Yeah. And then the plan is around the world. Around the world. So we're still in like, oh, this is possible. Oh, that's possible. Yeah.
And there's with everything that's going on, and once I get what I need done for myself, there will be that I'll be going, back to Georgia to handle some affairs that need to be handled there. And it may be this year. It just all depends on, what goes on, what's taking place, where I feel I need to go next. And then, just to determine on what all that speaks to will determine what T and I do from here. It'd rather be that we'll meet up and begin that convoy before we go to Egypt, or be afterwards, or whatever it may be.
Well, we might do a test run before.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be my birthday in August. We could go do a test run.
So it's, the possibilities, like I said, it's endless. It's endless, and it's a profound standing to know that everything that I've been seeking to know and to understand, and like with T, for me it was, I just want to be shown the truth of what steps I need to take. And I want that to be the fullness of the truth that embodies everything that resonates so much with who I am. I know who I am. I'm still coming to more and more understanding who I am. I know I'm not the form, I'm with the form. And who I am works through the form. So it's, I guess you would say that, almost 20 years, I've been what most people would define as an autodidactic. I have been re-educating myself, knowing that to a level and degree, I was limited when I was in the, what they call the school system, but we can call it the fool system as well. But my main purpose and goal was to understand this world so that I may better understand what I was missing. What was I missing? What was it that I was missing in my journey that really wasn't telling me what this is about? I know I have this profound, like, position and role that I'm meant to play or be, yet what is it that I need to provide myself with to understand that,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think there's so many more tools going in the toolbox, whether that's around energy stuff, and I'm getting so much around Earth right now, and the shifting going on, and yeah, the guidance and assistance. So don't think you can't connect with Earth and really start to feel what's going on, because you can, because you are Earth. Everything you eat, drink, and breathe should be coming from nature. Every year, this form was created from that, and it's just such a miracle form at that. But yeah, don't forget that nature always nurtures, and make sure you get yourself out there and really set with it, because you will be amazed at what you see and hear. There's a bird video over on TikTok, spiritual meaning of birds. I think it's close to like 400,000. The amount of comments, the amount of love on that, the reposting, it just keeps going. It's one of those that keeps going. It just shows me people are becoming more and more aware and observing their surroundings. You are always getting messaging. Your intuition is always there. It's there. Can you hear it? Can you discern it? It does require operating more from the heart and less from the mind. It's generally that little bit quieter voice that comes in. And it might just be a random thought, and you're like, well, I wouldn't think that. Remembering being the observer takes you out of that in it to win it and more into that observer mode, where you can just be curious. Huh, interesting, that's happening right now. I mean, unless it's an emergency, but it's completely changed my perspective and the way I interact with others. And whatever comes through when I'm communicating with someone is going to be what they need to hear. I don't question it anymore. Yeah. Good to see you, Andrea. Absolutely. Oh, Shay's Carolyn, get out of there, Tanya. I'm getting a lot of lost souls. Yeah, and that reminds me to just take a moment and send a lot of love to the beautiful Filipino community that's been in Vancouver for a very long time, that had a very tragic incident. And many, I think there was 9 that transitioned.
There's 11 now.
Yeah, a lot of trauma uh, for that community because they're a very tight knit community. Yeah, and they always have this beautiful festival and food trucks and etc. And somebody decided it was a good time to drive right through. So yeah, yeah. So just sending lots of love and support that way. Won't be the last, unfortunately. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment. So finding your inner peace is really critical at this point. Anything else you want to add, Norma?
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it. I'll say it again. It's not as difficult. It's, it's not as difficult as it seems. When you hit a space and place where you're able to bring in your heart enough to be able to have that conversation with the mind again, and be able to lead the mind to understand its own bifurcation, and to allow it to recognize that through the guidance of the heart, of your heart. Okay. I mean, once you're able to do that and you just really sit back, and like I've said before, you've got to take the systematic structure of judgment of the court systems out of it. And that's really what's going to help the most. Stop judging your choices. Stop judging them and reflect upon them, meditate upon it. See what you come up with. And it's always going to be one of those that when you do this and you take the judgment out, you're going to be sitting there in that reflective moment or that meditation, or just really just, allowing what took place to really work through your mind. Something's going to pop up. You're going to be like, whoa. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. And you'll have this breath. And you'll know it. You'll have this breath because you'll have that moment of an aha. Oh, wow. I see now. So when you take the judgment out of the reflective and meditative state of understanding, first understanding, so that you may understand, and then you have that overstanding, because the overstanding is that greater perspective. Because you've taken the two, your understanding and your understanding, and you've set them down at the table of what I guess you would say commonplace, and you've allowed them to meet one another. And when you can do this, you can do it without the judgment, and you begin to start coming at yourself so much more lighter, so much more loving, so much more understanding, that you will begin to shift the world that you are, which means you'll begin to shift the world in which you exist and you're traveling, because you want to express that because of the change you've provided yourself in your understanding of the world that you are. So this is where that choosing to be the change, you'll begin to see the change, because you won't be able to see it any other way. So keep going. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful. You keep showing up, and that's what's important. Whether it's like you sit here and you give yourself that chance and opportunity, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Yes, you do. You do get it. It's getting that one block out of the way. I will get this. I do get this. I get it, and I understand it from where I am. However, I know as I continue on in my journey of my own self, in getting to know more about who I am in this, the quicker, the easier, the more loving position I will hold of myself as I go along this journey. It will get simpler. It does get simpler. So keep going. You're doing wonderful. You're doing beautiful. And like Tia said, reach out to us. Go to the website. Book a session with us. Even if that means, it's in a month or so. It doesn't matter. we will give you the map. We will give you the directions where to go. What do you need to look for? What it's going to take for you to understand all of this. So you become a sovereign soul first within yourself in order to prepare to liberate the form and be totally and fully sovereign and walk this place as one. For you to understand the bifurcated world in which we are walking, and the soul will be able to guide itself in this form through that and be everything it is by conveying that and expressing that and having it as a message that you are being with others. I hope I make sense. Sometimes it's hard to explain.
It's hard to put it into words.
Right, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Beautiful, Norma. Yeah. Questions, emails, they're all free. So by continuing to show up shows your heart love. Truth is showing itself to you. Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wanted to add a little thing around this on a similar topic about the energy that you are, because everything is energy. And to remember that you managing your energy is the most important thing so that you can achieve that which you desire. For if your energy is low and you're trying to push and force through friction, it's not going to go so well. Being more peaceful, being more observant, being more introspective, taking that time for yourself in the morning especially. What do you need for a routine for you? Everybody's different. No two are the same. Yeah, if there's anything I've learned over the last, coming up on 55 years, is no two people are the same. Energies are similar though. Yeah.
Yep.
Can see some similar energies. You may recognize someone. There's a lady that I ran into 3 times in the woods over the last 7 or 8 months. And I was like, okay, there's really something we need to connect on, because there's no way otherwise that this would be happening, because I don't go at the same time. Go at super random times. Anyways, it's just remembering to love you unconditionally. You don't need to go on a big healing loop. You don't need to chase anything. Quite often, it's just observing and remembering that forgiveness isn't about forgiving the others. It's about releasing that energy from you, letting go for you. It's always been that way that's why the Ho'oponopono prayer, it's very, very, very good. I still use it sometimes if I need to, if I want to shift the energy around something. And then focusing on the outcome that you want and how does that feel? And can you maintain your energy better? Can you manage your energy so you're more consistent? It doesn't mean ride high, because you're never going to stay there all the time. It'll always be up and down. But can you manage your energy so it's like you're smooth no matter what's going on? I got this. Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah. Always remember, resistance is a totally different position than resilience.
Yeah. What you resist persists. Yeah. You already know everything. It's a matter of just remembering it. And you're the only one that can do it. Nobody can really do it for you. For one can go and see someone and have a reading or have a healing session and feel better for a week, maybe 2. But unless you're taking those tools and using tools for self and implementing those tools, no thing will change. So as you see, the ball's in your court. It's up to you. Do you choose to play or surrender? Yeah, let's see what happens next, hey? Yeah. Oh, that still happens. That's clearing out the brain to take in new information. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, you guys, we're gonna sign off. Remember, you are loved. Yeah, we got a new exit video. I have no idea. I haven't even seen it. Kind of excited. Let's see what Norma came up with. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. I will see you on Wednesday.
There is a way to move in this world without being moved by it. A way to build without borrowing, to grow without being owned, and to operate through trust rather than permission. Some have remembered how to transmute agreements into energy, paper into purpose, and promise into power. All without the noise of the system. They create from substance, not submission. They fund from within, not without. They've learned to navigate the current, not swim against it. It is not magic. It is not fiction. It is simply a return to the law of commerce, the trust of one's word. If you feel the call to exit the hamster wheel and enter the architect's seat, find the door where contracts become keys and trust becomes your strongest currency. We don't sell. We build. We don't owe. We originate. We don't chase. We assign. This is for those ready to operate in silence with strength, in honor with structure. No titles, no tricks, just truth.